I want to talk about anger because, believe it or not, I used to get really angry, but I have coached myself into not getting angry anymore at anything or anyone. Now, what I used to get angry about was selfishness, other people's selfishness, because I happened to be a bit of a martyr and I didn't realize that. But I thought, if I can be selfless and I can do things, then why can't other people do that as well? And extreme selfishness, not towards me, but people that I cared about, really bothered me too. So I would see people being selfish and taking advantage of people that I cared about, using their money, their finances, not appreciating them. In one case, overworking them, underpaying them. And this was family this person was doing this to as well, which really rubbed me the wrong way. I felt justified in judging her and being angry. And then I started understanding unity consciousness. And this particular person I'm talking about happens to be in a very close circle, family slash friends. And so I had to learn to love her. And when I told my bestie that I needed to learn to love her, she goes, "Do you? Do you really?" And I said, "Well, if I'm going to reach Christ consciousness, then yeah, absolutely. I need to learn to love her." But there's not much that on the surface is lovable about this person because they're still selfish to this day. But I have learned to love her and I've learned to appreciate her. And I'm going to tell you how. I got to a point where I started asking myself, what is this person teaching me? Why does she irritate me so? Not just because she's selfish and I'm not selfish and I'm better than her. That was my perspective for a long time. But what is she really showing me? What is she mirroring to me? And as I started to dive deep, I realized that I was not okay with selfishness and I didn't take care of myself in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, I was self-sacrificing and getting into that martyrdom. And martyrdom's not a place we should be. That's not self-love. That's self-sacrifice. So basically, this person was loving herself to the point of taking advantage of others, which is not in balance and is not acceptable. But I didn't have the right to judge her. Only God can be the judge of that. And sometimes we Christians say that, and they're like, well, God's going to judge him, but deep down we're judging him ourselves, which is not our place. So, as I started looking at her as my teacher instead of my enemy, I started asking myself where I was martyring myself, where I was giving too much, where I was too self-sacrificing, and where I was bitter over it. And then I just started pulling the energy back. Not in a mean way, but just like I realized the people that I was bending over backwards for didn't even expect it of me. They didn't. They just were okay with me being me. It was me beating myself up. So I had to learn to forgive myself, allow myself some slack. And then as I did that, I started to look at her completely differently. And then I started to thank her for the lessons that she was able to teach me by reflecting back that incredibly selfish behavior that I was so irritated by. And now, like I said, she hasn't changed one bit. But I also realize that there are no victims in the world and that the people she's taking advantage of are allowing it. I don't allow her to take advantage of me. I have boundaries, but I don't judge her anymore. I let her be. And I'm very peaceful with that. And the reason I'm able to let her be is because now I'm able to let me be. And when I can't do something, I just say no and I don't feel bad about it. My martyr syndrome doesn't kick in anymore because I love myself now. I don't need to sacrifice myself to be worthy of love. And I don't need anybody else to sacrifice themselves to be worthy of love or loving themselves. So this is a brief description of how you too can get into unity consciousness.